Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one. Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
Just to condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Air this morning is Chizi Nyomasila. Chizi Nyomasila is a political analyst and the national leader of ICU Group. Good morning, Chizi, and welcome to
Good morning, and good morning, viewers.
And I also have with me Zoe Solomon Tamunotoye. Zoe Solomon is a lecturer and development expert and is also the national president, Rivers Emancipation Movement. Good morning, Zoe, and welcome to Open Air.
Choma, I don't know how good is the morning with what we wake up with hearing our president say this morning. However, it is well, viewers.
All right, we'll delve into the presidential speech right away. Highlights of President Tinubu's broadcast, August 4, 2024. Tinubu, the first highlight, Tinubu expresses pain by the loss of lives in Borno, Jigawa, Kano, Kaduna, and other states, the destruction of public facilities in some states, and the wanton looting of supermarkets, shops, contrary to the promise of protest organizers that the protest would be peaceful across the country. Tinubu commiserates with the families and relations of those who have died in the protest. He said that further bloodshed, violence, and destruction must stop. The second highlight, President Tinubu enjoins protesters and organizers to suspend any further protest and create room for dialogue. He also warned those taking advantage of the protest to start ethnic war not to continue. In his statement, he said, as president of this country, I must ensure public order in line with my constitutional oath to protect the lives and property of every citizen. Our government will not stand idly by and allow a few with a clear political agenda to tear this nation apart. On the third highlight, aggregate government revenues doubled, hitting over 9.1 trillion naira in the first half of 2024, compared to the first half of 2023, due to our efforts at blocking leakages, introducing automation, and mobilizing funding creatively without additional burden on the people, Tinubu says. On the fourth highlight, reduction of debt servicing from 97% to 68% in the last 13 months. On the fifth highlight, state and local governments receive highest allocations ever in our country's history from federation accounts. Also, more than 570 billion naira has been released to the 36 states to expand livelihood support to their citizens, while 600,000 nano businesses have benefited from nano grants. An additional 400,000 more nano businesses are expected to benefit. Furthermore, 75% beneficiaries, 75,000 them, and 5 more hubs are in progress, which will be ready by October this year. The sixth highlight, federal government has embarked on major infrastructural projects. Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway and Sokoto-Badagry Highway projects will still open up 16 connecting states, creating thousands of jobs and boosting economic output through trade, tourism, and cultural integration. Vehicles that transport people and goods consume 80% of the imported PMS and AGO. Federal government starts distribution of conversion kits and setting up of CNG centers across the country, and gas assets are receiving the attention they deserve. Investors are coming back, and federal government have already seen 2 foreign direct investments signed of over $500 million since then. Let me start with you, Zoe. We'll take it point by point. We'll start with the first highlights. Now, Tinubu expresses pain by the loss of lives in Borno, Jigawa, Kano, Kaduna, and other states. He also condemns the destruction of public facilities in some states. What is your take on that? I'm sure you listened to the presidential speech.
I did listen, Shoma. I did listen. Well, let me begin by saying, expressing my sympathy
and condolences to the families and well-wishers of those who have lost their life in the course of these protests. I want to assure the families that there is always a price, there is always a sacrifice. History has shown that no nation has gotten to a better place where it wanted its citizen and its nation to get to without a cost. And if this is a supreme prize, those who have lost their life, though very unnecessary, very avoidable, we want to assure the families that those who have lost their lives will not go in vain. Their names will be written in the history of Nigeria when Nigeria will get to where we want to. They have paid the supreme price, and no price is too great for us to get things right in this country. So I want to, unlike the presidents who said he's paid something, you asked if I listened to the speech.
Yes.
I did listen to the speech.
Okay.
And I want to, in summary, say that the speech is one of an insensitive, clueless, and out of touch with reality on ground speech I've ever heard from a president in my lifetime.
All right, we will still get to that. We are analyzing the speech, and probably at the end of the conversation, you can give your summation on how you feel about the speech. Don't you think that's the right thing to do?
Thank you.
All right, let's look at the second story. President Tinubu enjoins protesters and organizers to suspend any further protest and create room for dialogue. And he also said that in line with his constitutional oath to protect the lives and properties of every citizen, the government will not stand by and allow a few with a clear political agenda to tear the nation.
Do that. I thought it will stop with my mother. I saw my wife do it. My wife will beat my child, and then we'll bring kid again and say, "Why are you crying? Stop crying." So why do you want the child to stop crying? Stop beating the child and probably pet the child. The child will stop crying. You said I don't want to jump into that. You said it has political undertone. Yes, I agree. Every opposition will harp on the opportunity you have created.
Now, is this a case of opposition? This is a case of the citizens reacting
No, I'm coming to that. That's
to the issues. So when you say opposition, it's now politics.
No, I said every opposition, every credible opposition will have on the opportunity you have created. And I know why I'm saying that.
All right.
That's because you created that opportunity in the first instance.
Okay.
What is political in hunger? We are hungry. And people are saying we are hungry. We are not getting to know all the things you have said. And so all you need to tell us is, no, tell us that we are not hungry, and then the politician is coming to tell us that we are hungry. Let the politician come and force me that I should be hungry when I'm not hungry. But I am hungry, and I'm telling you that I'm hungry. Address that issue. Tell us how we leave this hunger. The last time I came on this place, this platform, I told you that, look, let them bring a practical program with timelines. Tell us this is what you are doing, and this is what you are about. This is how it's going to help us address these issues. I think that the 15-point agenda of, request of the protesters, all of us were like that. These are all youths. This protest is not just about youth. It's everybody, because the youth are hungry. I am hungry. Everybody is hungry. In fact, all of us are protesting. Being on this platform today, I'm also protesting. Of course, that's what it means. Protest must not be that you're on the street. Sometimes you also scream to tell them what you are doing is not right. Now address us on each of the points, and then we know what you are doing about each of the points that the people have raised. That's what I think about it.
All right. Now, Zoe, what is your take on the two points raised?
First,
room for dialogue and political agenda.
Yes, first, the president said we should suspend the protests. I want to remind the president, except he wants to claim that he is a sponsor and organizer of the protest. If he's not the one, he doesn't have the right to tell us to stop our civic right. So protesters, we should discard that. The president have not said anything for us to stop the protest. That is one. Secondly, the president talking about dialogue. What are we dialoguing? What dialogue are you calling for? The agenda of the protesters are already on your table. Mind you, when we are saying protesters, we are talking about Nigerians. We are talking about the citizens of this country. Their agenda, what they are asking for, is already on your table. Now, what the president is doing, or those who are calling for dialogue, is like saying they rushed in a patient into a hospital, maybe a gunshot or an accident, and then the patient is rushed in with an ambulance, and then the doctor comes and they introduce the patient critically, in a dead situation, and then the patient the doctor start calling the nurses, please go and get a textbook, let's look at what to do. That's what this government is asking us when they say we should dialogue. There is a patient on your table critically in a critical condition. Do the first thing. What I expected this president. That is why I said he's totally in touch with reality. I now agree with Senator Ndume when he said the president has been caged and arrested in Aso Rock. This is a true example of what Ndume said. The president is totally out of reality. When the president spoke this morning, I wasted my time to sleep, to wake up and wait to hear the president of the country. The is fellow Nigerians as a result of the prevailing situation on the streets. These are the people that elected me. Let me hear them. Therefore, I am bringing the price of fuel to 100 naira or 265. That is the basic thing we're asking for. Bring down the price of fuel to 165 naira, where it was from where you took up in May 29, 2003. Instead of the president to say that, he is calling out for dialogue. What dialogue do you want to dialogue with us? That we don't know. We are already dialoguing on the street, and we'll continue tomorrow. This government will be amazed. They are trying to test our determination and our strength. They will be amazed. Going about political undertone. Yes, I agree with the president totally that there is a political undertone to this protest. And the political undertone is the price of fuel from 165 naira to 880 naira as of yesterday. In the political undertone is the cost of 1 cup of beans, a tomato cup of beans, that is 60 naira to 500 naira now. The political undertone is just an egg that children takes in the morning before they go to school. Nursery school children that was 50 naira is now 300 naira. That is a political undertone behind this protest, and the president will soon come to know that.
All right, let's look at the third highlight of the presidential speech. And the third one says, aggregate government revenues doubled, hitting over 9.1 trillion naira in the first half of 2024 compared to the first half of 2023 due to federal government's efforts at blocking leakages, introducing automation and mobilizing funding creatively without additional burden on the people. Now, the government said that they have been able to generate over 9.1 trillion naira in the first half of 2024. Isn't that applaudable? But then there is a caveat. He also added that these things were able to be done. He outlined how he was able to do it, but he said without adding extra burden on the people. Do you agree with that statement?
I totally disagree. See, let's use this first example I gave. When you bring a patient to the hospital and the doctors, the nurses are administering treatment on the patient, the only way we will know the effectiveness of the doctors is the improvement of the health of the patients. That is not done in this case. So it doesn't matter whatever you have improved. It doesn't matter whatever you have generated. What is the effects of what you have generated, of whatever revenue you have generated or improved upon? What is the effect on that generation of revenue on the citizen? That is the question. And for you to say you are not adding, what burden do you need to add on the citizens again, when the only thing that the citizens have in direct connection to their government is the price of fuel? That is the only thing. The citizens provide water for themselves. The citizens provide their own health because they have resorted, because they cannot afford medical facilities. Nigerians have resorted to pastors who are taking, churches and imams and spiritual healing, native doctors that are taking advantage of them. Nigerians have resorted to providing education, virtually everything. The only thing that relates Nigerian citizens with their government is the fuel price. And for you to increase the price of fuel from 165 naira to 900, 800 naira. What other burden do you need to bring? And that revenue you claim to have raised, what are you using it for? To use it to service government official, to use it to service a building of government houses, to use it to create a budget for the office of the vice president and the president, a computer of 10 billion naira. The president and the vice president have a budget of 10 billion naira just for computer. Even Bill Gates is not using that kind of computer. The maker of computer is not using that kind of computer. So what the president is talking about raising revenue has nothing to do with the citizens of Nigeria. It is only for themselves.
All right, Chizzy, what is your take on this point?
I want to believe the president that we do have 9.1 trillion naira for the first quarter of the year.
Okay.
And I want to thank them for that.
Okay.
But it's also an indictment on the president and the government. I come to my family, and I'm always using this family thing. I come to my family and I tell my children, today I'm now earning 500,000 naira a month. But you can't go to school. I can't pay your school fees. I can't pay your school fees. I can't feed you. I can't do anything. Just be hungry. But I have 500,000 naira a month. What am I telling my children? I'm telling my children to revolt.
Thank you.
The president has told us that all you were saying, all you are crying, we have the resources to take care of them, but I don't want to give you. That's what the president is saying. I'm not saying, when you say you have 9.2 trillion, Chioma, that is going almost half of the budget, not even more than the annual budget. You said you already have it. Budget is something that, is an estimated revenue of the government. Today you told us that, look, this budget, we're already having the money, we're no longer borrowing, we have this money. But we cannot give you those basic things. That's the problem. That's what you have admitted. If the president has said, why am I going to? It's like somebody waking up in a dream and telling me that he's going to be the president of the world, and that in his dream he saw himself being the president of the world, and I come to doubt him of why was I there with him in his dream? I'm not there. The president is the one who will tell us how much he has. So I believe him. But I'm also saying that that's the money that you have. Use it to work for the country. And let us not be hungry. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Now, if the budget, if the revenue has increased to a tune of 9.1 trillion naira, you recall that shortly after signing the minimum wage into law, a supplementary budget was passed at the floor of the National House. If the federal government is generating this much, and he has also, not just this, but he also expoliated on other avenues that the federal government has actually taken advantage of to ensure increased revenue generation, one would wonder, why can't these incomes being generated run some things as it were? Zoe, you are a development expert, aren't you?
Yes.
What do you have to say about that?
Well, the government is not sincere to
Or
itself.
is the government's expenditure more than what it's gaining?
No, from what he has said, they have generated this amount of money as against the budget. So the government should be in a very good standing in terms of implementing the budget. So it's just a government of deceit. They are just deceiving themselves. They think when they mention figures, Nigerians will be carried away by those figures. But we, as development experts, the essence of what we look at in development is whatever you do, what is the impact, the effect of that?
Trickles down.
Yes, to the individual, to the citizen. That's what we're talking about. So all what they are saying, all what the president said with regards to revenue generation, other source of income, whatever they are doing, has no meaning as far as the living condition of the Nigerian citizens are concerned.
Well, Zoe, but you must applaud the government for this fourth highlight. He said federal government has been able to reduce debt servicing from 97% to 68% in the last 13 months. And he also mentioned that prior to this time, the government was using the entirety, over 97% of the revenue generated by the government goes into debt servicing. So you would applaud the president, of course, for this feat, don't you?
Choma, there is nothing to applaud the government. If
Reducing
you are able to, what got us to that place in the first place? What got us there in the first place? Those are the things we need to ask. And if you have reduced, it's the same APC government, mind you.
Regardless,
it's the same APC. Well, however, if you have reduced the budget, this payment of the budget from 97% to 80 something, how has that affected the naira to 68%? How has that affected the strength of the naira? That is the point. It's not just about reducing. What you're reducing, anything you're doing, like I told you, a doctor administering drugs, treatment to a patient should bring about improvement in the health of the patient. That is where we are not seeing. So if you are able to reduce budget repayment, what is the reflection of that on the naira? How has it improved the strength of the naira as against the dollar? That's the question we need to address.
All right, Chizzy. Now, Chizzy, you would agree with me that there are certain policies that, it's gestational. It's in its cocoon, it's still maturing. And because it's going through that gestational period, you will not immediately feel the impact of these policies. Right. Now, for Zoe is expecting an immediate result once the masses to start feeling the immediate result of some of the policies that the federal. Then, to be realistic and to be fair to the government, it is not all policies that the impact will be felt immediately. Now, when it trickles down to servicing of loans from 97% to 68% in the last 13 months, isn't that a feat?
Chairman, I agree it's a feat. What he is saying is not that we wouldn't have to sacrifice certain things ourselves. No, that's not what he's saying. I like to always use the family because I am telling my children that, look, I'm not going to pay this amount of rent again in the house. And then I will tell them, I'm not going to pay this rent. We are going to move to a smaller house where we're going to be staying where I built the new house. But now you are saying I'm no longer paying the rent, but you have to stay outside until then. What does that? You have to tell us, where are we now? This is what we should be doing by now. I shouldn't be paying for it. You can't go and reduce debt, the national debt for me, and then increase my personal debt. You are reducing the national debt and increasing the citizens' debt, because we're all debtors now. In fact, if you have to bring down, calculate all the debts that we are all owing, you'll be shocked that it's more than what they are paying. And in first instance, Chairman, I want to question something. This debt they are talking about, this national debt, we have a way of speaking English. How does it come? What is that debt that we're owing? These debts are tied to infrastructure or to one thing or the other. So how come those things are not there?
Are not generating income.
They're not generating income. Because those things are supposed to be generating income. Or that this is a feasible thing. That this debt, you collected this debt because you wanted to build a university, and then we've seen the university. You collected this debt because you wanted to develop this industry, and this is the industry. Okay, let's just give this industry time to begin to recoup before they begin to pay. We are not even seeing that. We are even paying debt that I can tell you that I don't even know whether we are owing or not. What are we going for?
All right.
What are the
now let's
Choma, let me
talking
add
about
this.
that.
Let me add this.
You still do that. But talking about what he just said. Now let's look at certain monies that have been repatriated into the country. All the ones that EFCC got people from the monies from anti-graft agencies. It is unclear what the monies these anti-graft agencies get from people, particularly politicians. Some politicians, you agree with me, will release some in order to lighten the weight on them. And you talk about the Abacha loot, you talk about so many monies being repatriated into the country. The question is, where do this money is going to? If this money is to the tune of and some of the issues, plaguing this country, do you think we'll be in the state we are in right now? Not forgetting that one individual will steal monies to the tunes of trillions of dollars. Some people will steal money that is higher than the allocation and the budget of 3 or 4 states in Nigeria put together. And when some of these monies are recovered, the question is, what are the anti-graft agencies doing with this money? Can people start asking questions about monies that are being repatriated and gotten from our stolen wealth? What is the government doing about it?
Yes, Choma, I'll take that question. But let me correct something. When I speak in this tune, it's not necessarily that we must have immediate result. No.
Right.
Of course, as a development expert, every development is know that development is a process. In fact, there's what we call the natural law of development. It has to begin with conception of an idea. And then you give birth to that idea, which is a vision or manifesto of a party, whatever you call it. And then it goes into the period of growth. Okay, when you give birth, you go into the period of growth, and then it gets to a level of maturity. These are natural processes of development. Now, in the course of this natural process, there are things that will come up, what we call unforeseen circumstances, which you need to give immediate attention and take care of. That is the eye with which I am looking at government this thing. Now, you said the government have run not less than 13 months, if not more than that. Tell me, in all that they have been saying, in all the points the president dished out this morning, tell me one tangible thing. When they removed the fuel subsidy, I was one of those who was preaching in the buses, telling bus drivers, passengers that they should be patient, because I was comparing it to what happened in 2005. You remember when Obasanjo introduced the mobile communication stuff, GSM? You remember the cost of SIM card? Yeah. I bought my first SIM card, 45,000 naira. I have to pay it in installments. Okay, it was that expensive. And then you have to buy a recharge card of 1,500 naira. It was that expensive. But with time, when MTN, I mean, this thing was privatized, what they call it? No, when other these things came in, you know, the competition. Thank you very much. Before you know it, today, SIM card is almost free on the streets. You can buy recharge card as low as 50 naira. Data as low. So immediately I thought it that way, that probably this is what is going to happen with the fuel issue. So I was going bus to bus, entering bus like the way these preachers do, and I was preaching to people. Let's be patient with this removal of fuel subsidy. Let's give it 6 months. Let's give it. And the way the president did it, it's as if he already has something on ground. You know, when he said kick the ground going, Abi, hit running. The ground running. He already has something on ground, and in less than 3 months, we will be able to come out of this. And Choma, before we knew it, we are 6 months. Before we knew it, the price is increasing. They are targeting 1,000 naira a liter of fuel before December. That's their target. So tell me one thing that the government have been able to do why they are reducing international debt payment rates. They are increasing the burden on the people. Now, mind you, that's to answer your question of where the money.
The president said that the third point, that takes us back to the third point. Aggregate government revenues doubled, hitting over 9.1 trillion naira in the first half of 2024. He said this was able to happen due to our efforts at blocking leakages, introducing automation, and mobilizing funding creatively without additional burden on the people. So the president is saying that this revenue generation, it's not burdening the people. He's saying that the people are not burdened. The government is doing this by creatively generating avenues.
Choma, if the people are not burdened, they won't be on the street. Who likes to be on the street? Do you know how much I have suffered being on the street for the last 3 days? If the people are not burdened, they will not be on the street. What makes him think the people are not burdened when they are buying 1 cup of gari for 300 naira, 500 naira? What makes him think the people are not burdened when they now pay 500, 600 to 1,000 naira for a transport fare of a distance of 200 naira before you assume office?
When you're focusing on the fuel subsidy, you tend to forget that there are other aspects of governance. Like let's come to the power hike, the tariff in power.
Yes.
Right, and then the ban A issue and the other bans, as it were. Even though with the recent protests, the federal government has come out to say that that tariff has to be reversed. But the question is, has it been implemented as of now? You recall that prior to this time, you know, with 10,000 naira, you can buy units that will last you for a very long time. But now, let's say in some households, 10,000 naira can buy you units that will last you for a month. But now, the same 10,000 naira unit will last barely a week. The question would be, I felt you would be asking would be, is that not part of the creative means that the federal government has employed to make it? Is that not burdening the people? This is just one. You understand?
Of so many,
when you're focusing
of several.
on fuel subsidies,
Yes.
I would also want you to periscope on other ways that it's affecting you, it's affecting your neighbor, it's affecting every other person. So if the government is saying that they are generating these revenues without burdening the people, apart from fuel subsidy, what other things do you think the government has done or increased their tariffs on that has directly affected the masses?
Choma, it is not true that what the government are doing is not bringing burden on the people. Is not true. In every sector, we are just taking the fuel because that is the only language the ordinary man on the street understands.
Ordinary man pays for
NEPA bill, yes. Okay, what about in the health sector? Nigerians are paying through their nose because the health facilities and the health sector is not well funded. What about the educational sector? People can no longer trust the public education. They are taking their children to private schools where the burden of the fees are so high on them. So many things. But the point I want to make, this revenue they have generated, like you asked, the monies that were looted, that were recovered through EFCC, through Abasha loot and all the rest, what are they using the monies to do? I will tell you what they use the money to do. You hear when the media will announce, or EFCC will announce, so ministry, 5 billion naira is missing. So these are where this money are going to. So the president
I don't
cannot.
understand what you mean.
This when you hear billions are missing in ministry, so minister have gone with so billion. Recently you heard that about 5 billion naira or so for women empowerment stuff during Buhari's government was taken. This is where those looted monies or the money they are generating. When you hear they build 21 billion naira residential quarter for a vice president in an economy that we are facing like this. This is where
are generated from the budget.
Choma, this is where the public monies are going. Both the one they are generating and the ones they are recovering from loot and other means through EFCC. This is where the monies are going. And he cannot claim that Nigerians are not bearing the burden. Nigerians are the ones carrying the burden.
All right, Chizu, you have something to that before we go to the next
like
story.
To differ from that a little bit.
All right.
I can't say that is where
the money is going.
Because those things are in the budget.
Of course.
So these are extra budget revenue. This money they bring in is extra budget. Choma, you know why Zoe is hinting on petroleum? Let me tell you why. Even the power sector, I mean, and the electricity you are talking about, they also have gas to generate the electricity. So you need the gas. So which means that if they buy gas, for instance, if they buy, assuming they are using petroleum, if they buy a liter for 818 naira, you don't expect them to still give you the amount of the amount of money you were paying on tariff before. They will have to increase it. So that is why petroleum is very critical because we are consuming. You see, let me tell you something, Choma. I may not have traveled all over the world, but I can tell you that a liter of fuel in Nigeria is not more costly than a liter of fuel in so many places. No,
that's true.
But the difference is that I have a friend, Mr. Hutchinson, who is my mate, who does not know how much is a liter of fuel in the US. That's because he has never gone to buy fuel. He does not have any reason to buy. But here, you see that even the old women in the village uses petroleum product. That means that as soon as you touch that which everybody uses, it will increase every other thing. That's the reason why you can see that just the petroleum itself increases. I like he said, I am in support of the removal of subsidy. The same way he did. I run an organization and we kept talking about how the government. In fact, IBB wanted to do that. We stopped it. Jonathan, even the Tribus stopped Jonathan.
Yeah, they are the ones that stopped
Jonathan,
it.
and all of that. And Jonathan was only going to increase it to 140 something naira. And then we were shouting. It's okay. Let's,
a difference of 12 naira.
Let's remove it. Let's remove it and see. And now look at government. But you see, Chairman, the reason why people take jam and wait till September to enter school is that because they know that if you take jam, the jam has a time for it to release its result, and then you have a time for which admission will come. If government truly is doing something with the subsidy. Nobody is saying that immediately you remove subsidy that we should begin to enjoy. No, nobody says that. But if you remove the subsidy and we begin to see the hype in subsidy, you should be able to tell us, look, guys, this thing by October this year, this one will happen. And we know that truly this one will happen. And that there is a great communication on the part of government, and of course the trust deficit. Because you know why? Do you blame Nigeria for not trusting the government? They have told us these things
over and over.
When you called me to come on this station yesterday, I was researching on the manifestos of Nigerian government from 1979 till today. They are the same thing. That means that the same thing Shagari told us was the same thing Abiola told us, the same thing Buhari told us, the same thing Yar'Adua told us. It means that we're not doing anything. This person comes to tell us this. So why would I not tell government who says I am going to? That is why if a governor or a local government chairman ever brings in infrastructure in your community, you call the person and give him chieftaincy title as if he's doing use.
Chairman, don't forget. Let me just add to what he said. Yes, don't forget that when he removed the fuel subsidy in May 29, Nigerians did not revolt. They did not protest. They were waiting to see. And the way he started it, 6 months, it is 1 year, few months now into the government. Nothing has come back to them. But you keep increasing the price of fuel. That's what Nigerians cannot take.
All right, time to look at the states and how they have been culpable or not culpable. The fifth highlight of the presidential address says states and local governments receive highest allocations ever in our country's history from the federation account. Also, more than 570 billion naira has been released to the 36 states to expand livelihood support to their citizens, while 600,000 nano businesses have benefited from federal government's nano grants. An additional 400,000 more nano businesses are expected to benefit. Let's periscope on one, the increased FAC allocation, and this recent expose by the president. 500, you know what has been trending has been the 5 billion naira palliative to the states, to the state governors. Now the president is telling us that more than, not even 570 billion, but he said more than 570 billion has been released to the 36 states to expand livelihood support to their citizens. Now, if you're to divide 570 billion, don't forget that the president said more than, but let's just periscope on the 570 billion. If you divide it by 36 states, it means each state is getting over 15 billion naira. We are not adding the 5 billion naira palliative. In fact, if you are to add that, that's about over 20 billion naira to each state governor. And, you know, the question is, when Nigerians are protesting and putting pressure on the federal government, at the end of the day, let's use Rivers State, for example. The protesters went, the first day of the protest, they visited the Rivers State government house, and the governor addressed them and decided to offer them pure water money. Now, offering them pure water money, he said money for pure water and bread. Let me quote the governor. The governor said a small thing for pure water and bread for the protesters, as against over 15 billion naira from the government. And in this case, I'm using Rivers State as an example because we are in Rivers State and the protest is happening in Rivers State, and hardship is being felt across all the states. But let's use Rivers State, for example, and then let's look at what the governor has done and what the state governors have done with the monies being given to them according to the revelation by the president. What have they done to actually ameliorate the sufferings of the people? You would agree with me that if this money is genuinely trickled down to the grassroots, probably this protest would not erupt as it's erupting right now. So let's look at this critically. For me, right now, this is the most sensitive of all, because everybody is pointing a hand at the federal government, and nobody's talking about the state government, nobody's talking about the local government, as it were. Let me start with you, Zoe. What do you have to say to this revelation?
Okay, Choma, the protest, like I have said in other media platforms, is something that is taking place gradually. First, we have been able to establish to the Nigerian government, we've allayed their fears because they were thinking that we are just going to go to the street to destroy, to vandalize, to spoil government property. In the last 3 days, we have established that that is not our aim. So the protest is not just about Tinubu. I've said it in different platforms that the protest we are having today is not just about Tinubu. It is short-sighted for any person to think that we are just talking about Tinubu. We are talking about a failed system, and that talks about every institution. I was in a media platform yesterday in a radio station, and I said, as we progress in the protest, we are going to call in others, the religious institutions, the traditional institutions, every institution, whether public or private, individual that have failed the Nigerians, is what this protest is all about. So it's not just about Tinubu. We are just putting because he is at the helm of affairs, he is in charge. But it's not just about Tinubu. It has to do with the state government. It has to do with the local government. We are going to go, this protest, in fact, is probably going to be the forever protest because we have asked for accountability even to the councillors. We are going to ask for, because what is lacking in our government is accountability. Now, for these monies that the president is proud of telling Nigerians, which ordinarily we should applaud him. Unfortunately, we can't clap for him because we are not seeing the impact of this money. And that takes us to the governors and the local government that have received this money. That is, where is the accountability? Let's take Rivers State, for example, that you are talking about. Before I even talk about that, let me first and foremost appreciate the governor of Rivers State for being a Democrat as far as this protest is concerned, for allowing us to have our protest peacefully, and for identifying with us, for coming to address us. I think he was trending across the country that he was the only governor that did that in the first day. Now, having said that, you saw our response. I was there. You saw our response when he offered. I think he meant well anyway, just maybe to encourage us, for us to be peaceful. I think the governor meant well. So when he offered, but you can see Nigerian youths and Nigerians outrightly rejected that offer. Because we didn't come out to the streets.
Well, why would they reject the offer?
Because we didn't come out for handouts. The time for handouts has passed.
There is a difference between actually giving,
coming out to join their counterpart across the country to protest. I don't know if you have received that letter, but I channeled it. And that we will need security, and that we will also need health facilities like ambulance and first aid officials. And if foods and water can be made available, because it is hunger strike, hungry people will come out. Some of them will faint on the way. That letter was not responded to. I don't know if it is that letter the governor saw. However, he came to the platform to address us and offer money. Choma, you saw that we rejected that money. I said maybe he has good intentions. Maybe because he wanted us to move in peace, to remain in peaceful manner. I said, I'm identifying with you people, go and drink water and buy bread. We said, Mr. Governor, no, because we are coming out. It is time for you to teach us how to fish. That is what Nigerians are asking for.
All right.
The time for handout is over. The time to give us fish is over. So we reject that. Rejection alone is not in any way to slight or disrespect the governor, but is to communicate the bigger picture, what we actually came for. You can imagine you came for a job interview, and then the interview have not taken place. They are giving you mineral and bread. You started eating, moving around. They will take you not serious. So our message was communicated properly by we rejecting that. I think the governor understood our message very well. So give and take. Accountability is a problem here. When we are done, as we have made progress, we will begin to ask for. Thank God, the president has given us a template with which we engage the government. We are going to ask for accountability for all this money. That's what is going to as the day goes on.
All right, Chizzy. 570 billion released to 36
states. Let me start from what Zaye said. Honestly, they have almost forced me to believe what people are saying on the street.
Which is what?
Which is that protesters that went to the government was stage managed. Because he told me that he wrote to the governor in the first instance that, look, we want to protest and people need pure water and all of that. They might just respond to what you wrote, isn't it? That you wrote, how are you going to write to somebody that you are going to protest to? And this protest is supposed to be to the government, against the government. It's not even Tinubu. We all agree.
And you're writing to
and
the same government to provide water.
To provide it, to protect to them. I mean, we look at it. I don't want to be forced into believing that. But that the governor, who we are supposed to protect to the local government chairman, protect to the councillors, that we are supposed to tell them, the governor should have come and said, this is what I'm doing. That this 570 billion naira, I don't want to generalize because some government will get, some state will get more,
some will get less, yes.
Some will get less. Let me even assume that it's 5 billion. That we are
hold on. Let me correct that. Okay. 5 billion was the palliative. That one was announced, it was known.
No,
correct?
I am saying.
Hold on,
yes,
please.
yes.
And it was shared across states equally. Now, though some governors came out to say, some of them were saying that they did receive 5 billion, it was 2 billion. Regardless, money was given to the governors. But now, the president himself is saying that it's not even 570 billion. He said also, I'm quoting him, also more than 570 billion naira has been, in the past, has been released to the 36 states for the purpose of expanding livelihood support to their citizens.
That is what I'm saying. I think that maybe she's assuming that it's not 15 billion. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying. I'm saying
let's just reduce to 10 billion.
Let's just reduce to 10 billion. That you have 10 billion. What have you done with the 10 billion in your state? That's what I'm saying. It's not even to say, oh, I want to give you money. Thank God the protesters rejected that money. I want to give you money for pure water. You see, that is because the Nigerian government, the governors and the president have always thought that the only way to solve problem is to dash people money. When they say come for dialogue, they will just want to look at the heads of the protesters and just give them money. So why would the government tell you that? The government should be there to tell them, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing here.
Exactly.
This is what I'm doing here. Don't forget, Tinubu was also a governor. When he was governor, he was also thinking he's the president. We always, as if we are running a unitary system of government. The governor is there. He has also responsibility and accountability to his people to tell us what he is doing with his own budget. I said here the last time I came here, I said, do you know there are countries that is as populated just around River State and the same revenue? And they are doing, they are leading their people. So a governor can lead us like president of Nigeria. Same way a local government chairman should be able to tell us what they are doing to do this. And then the council should tell us. There should be accountability. I thank God that those who are on the street is saying that this protest will
progress,
progress to where they will ask the governor, ask the local government chairman, and even multinational corporation who has social corporate responsibilities that are not doing. Because you see, when we begin to talk about leakages, chairman, if you don't do yours and I don't do mine and I don't do mine, no matter what the federal government does, there will still be hunger. It won't go down. If the federal government has released 770 billion to the state, the federal government is saying go and take care of your citizens, and you haven't done that.
Now the question is, let's look at River State, for example, because we are living in River State.
Sure.
Cheesy. The River State government, by the reason of the fuel subsidy removal, in fact, all the state governments have been receiving increased VAT allocation. You would agree with me?
Yeah, sure.
Now, there is already on record, that 5 billion naira palliative was sent to state governor, River State inclusive. The River State governor came out to tell Rivers people that he had to rejig the economy. He had to rejig the internally generated revenue, and he increased the internally generated revenue by over 17 billion naira monthly. We are talking to the tune of billions. And now, the federal government is coming out to say that 570 billion. Now let's just, like you said let's not use 15 billion naira. Let's just even slash it down to 10 billion. Now let's look at this money. Let's remove the FAC allocation. Let's remove the IGR. But let's look at the money being sent. How many are we in River State? Let's just say the governor decides to break down these monies and give individually. Every River citizen will be a millionaire. But let's leave that and now say, okay, there is hunger. The money was given to help improve the livelihood of the citizens, the residents of the state. Can you tell me the infrastructural development on the ground that you have seen the governor do? Or can you please tell Nigerians and even the international bodies watching to the extent that you know what the governor has said so far? I have come out to do so and so with this money from the federal government, as it were. Or moribund agricultural companies or production companies that the governor has revived, or even companies that he has built. Or is it low-cost housing? Because you recall the governor also talked about low-cost housing that he's building along Airport Road. Yeah. I can assure you, I've been there severally. Each time I'm driving to the airport. Over here now, it is still at the foundation stage. So what exactly is happening in the states if these monies are truly trickling down? In all honesty, do you think that the citizens will be feeling the impact as much as they are feeling right now? Now, the governor, while addressing protesters, told the protesters that I feel your pain. I am using his word. If the governor genuinely is feeling the pain of the people, offering them money that's in comparative analysis to the billions being generated internally, being given from the government, that money appears to be not just a pittance, but an insult to the sensibilities of people who are dying every day on the streets. That money in comparative analysis is microscopically infinitesimal to what has been released by the federal government. Chizzy, what do you have to say to that? If you've seen anything the River State governor has done so far with these monies, please.
Chioma,
make it known.
The truth is that anybody can have his or her opinion. The governor, just like the other governors of the state, have not performed. I'm being frank with you. Chioma, I can tell you that. Let me use the one that I know. In River State, the reason for the high cost of Gary. You know why I'm an Ikure man? The reason for the high cost of Gary, I can tell somebody, apart from every other reason that I may not know, but one of the reasons for the high cost of Gary is, Choma, I came back from Abuja when I was working with the president. I came one day and I visited a friend of mine, a cousin friend of mine, and I was going to eat. I took him to a restaurant for us to eat. The morning they told us in that restaurant, he just withdrew me and said I should come. We went back to his house. He said I should just wait and give you 500 naira. Choma, I was there in 30 minutes. He was back from my village with 2 bags, what's it called?
They call it basin.
2 basins of Gary. And then we were eating. I said, where did you go to buy it? He said, I went to the village to carry Gary. Because in my village, you don't need to buy for us who are from there.
Yes.
But do you know what is happening now? In River State, the Ikwere, what I mean Ikwere is Ikwere local government,
Emoha
local government, Eche local government, Omoma, Oyibo,
yes.
Eleme, Kana, Gokana, Tai, Onega, Ahoda East, Ahoda West, Abu Odua, does not have any reason for anybody from that place to buy Gary. Before, we don't.
But a basin of Gary right now, you put a Gary is 27,000 naira.
Now, let me tell you.
From Ogoni, 27,000 naira.
That's where I'm coming.
All right.
Right now, I am buying Gary. Even though I'm from the same place. Because there are.
How much do you buy?
No,
I want to know if your price is different from mine.
No. If I
probably
want to
I'll be buying through you.
If I can go. But do you know the reason why we are buying Gary? These persons who do not have any reason to buy Gary is not competing with the other people who are supposed to buy Gary. Do you know the reason? Because my mother no longer go to farm so that she won't be raped by these
herdsmen
boys. They're not herdsmen. We also have our own herdsmen.
Right.
By these boys here. So which means that if we find a way of granting security to our locals, that they will begin to go to farm to produce Gary. So even the governor and local government chairman have a duty to do the. And Choma, I'm a politician. Choma, if I tell you that as politicians that we do not know the names of the bad boys in our village, tell me that I'm a liar.
So what is going on?
So what is going on is that we're not doing anything because you know what? The state is divided into, there's a political divide now. The boys are still to be used. They are still veritable. They want to use them so they can't stop them.
All right.
That's what's happening.
Interesting.
The 2 camps are recruiting the boys. So the boys are there, they are lost. So my mother cannot go to farm. And so I would have to resort into buying Gary. That's why it's as costly as that. Choma would have come here with the business of Ghana and probably share, so you wouldn't buy Gary tomorrow.
That would have been lovely.
They say when we're talking about government, federal government, the state government are culpable. The governor our own governor, has accepted that apart from even what the federal government is giving to him, that he has increased our revenue, which means he has more money to help us develop our state. No, that's not. You talked about the 20,000 housing unit. When the governor announced that 20,000 housing unit, I was so happy. Do you know why? If you remove those renting 20,000 persons who are renting from their landlord and then come to that place, do you know what will happen? The rent will reduce. So I was extremely very happy. But it's almost looking like a political statement, because if you go there every day, it looks like this is what we are going to be doing for the next 8 years. 1, 2, then you go there. You can't see that 20,000. When you say 20,000, Choma, I was there when they began building the Gwarepa estate in Abuja. I was serving. When they in Gwarepa estate, that place you call Gwarepa estate in Abuja today was our where we go for camp. Like even us who were NYSC started working there, because you can see the amount of mobilization on the side, and they delivered on it. SPIF delivered on infrastructures that are in few months. So in years. So
what is holding the Rivers State government in over a year?
Of course, you see political distinct people. They've taken their attention to politics. They are fighting politics. This one is taking our money to go.
But then the monies, political divide or not, political gimmicks or not, the governor still receives money from the federal government. It did not stop the federal government from sending money for governance.
That is what I'm telling you now.
Having political issues in Rivers State is not.
I use the case of Ukraine. I use the case of Ukraine, who has insulted us by sending grain to us when they are fighting. I used it as, I said, it's not an excuse, but I said that's the excuse they are using. That political they cannot allow them to do the other one cannot allow them. If you have mobilized, look at the circular road, for instance. It's ongoing. It's been paid. People are just walking, going, and of course you see that it's also causing certain
gridlocks.
And of course, a hardship on all us. But of course, Nigeria, we are ready to wait for it.
That can be, at least you know what you're waiting for.
You know what you are waiting for.
Okay.
So if we see
part of this, am I still part of this discussion?
That's how you also talk, and he waits for you. So
I'm happy Mr. Chizzy is getting it. Well, I'm happy he hit the nail on the head by saying that there is a political divide. That is that answers the whole quagmire we're talking about with Rivers State. But let's be fair to the governor. With regards to the statement that it was the protest at the government house on Thursday was stage managed, that would be a very unfair statement to the organic movements. Because we didn't know where. I was even shocked the manner people came from everywhere. Myself, I was inspired. That took me to this. I did not want to appear that day because I know I've done my part. Like you said from the beginning of this program, that protest is not only being on the street. I know I have done so many things. I've spoke on several media platforms. I've written letters, So, but I was inspired to be there because I saw the movement very organic. Okay. Then, like I said, there's nothing wrong. In fact, it's also constitutional to authorities. Okay. So that is how it is. It's not there was nothing that was stage managed. That protest on Thursday was the most organic organization I've ever seen in recent time. Having said that, I will say again, the governor, I'm not speaking for the governor, but I don't think it is whatever it is that is in his mind. I think it is for him to identify with us, for him to make us feel that, look, you have to be peaceful, I am with you people, that he must have gone ahead to make that financial pronouncement. But that's not what is important. What is important is that the people reject it, to send our message home.
This conversation, we are looking at substantial amounts of money being sent to these governors.
That is what I'm coming.
To improve the livelihood of the people who went on the streets.
Yes.
When the governor was addressing them and he said, I feel your pain.
Yes.
Did the governor also say, we have received so and so amount of money and this is what we are doing?
Now,
just hold on. Just like Nigerians were calling on the president
yes,
to come out and address them.
Yes.
Governors have taken a back seat in this protest. In fact, governors have been telling Nigerians, do not protest.
Yes.
But never has one governor come out to say, this is what we are doing, or this is what I am doing in my state, in order to see that the sufferings of the people are being cushioned.
Yes,
now, The president has come out to. I think this was a brilliant move by the president. By the way, a very brilliant move by the president to tell the Nigerians. You just don't have to put the pressure on me. Go back to your state. So Zoe, I want you to periscope on River State.
Yes.
Why you make a case?
Yes.
Hold on. Why you make a case for the governor being so magnanimous to want to offer pure water and bread money?
Yes.
Don't you think it's an insult to Rivers people, the governor offering pure water money, when the people are unaware of the huge amount of money given to the governor in the governor's custody that should have been affected and poured into infrastructure or whatever project the governor wishes to do that are people oriented, to ensure that they do not feel or to a large extent cushion the effects of this subsidy removal, cushion the effects of high cost of living, cushion the hunger crisis in River State. Not forgetting, Zoe, that River State has arable lands that has not been used. Not as virgin lands at that. That is under the custody of the state governor. What do you have to say to that?
Yes, Choma, I'm happy you said that all the state governors were speaking against the protests, but the governor.
I'm coming. We are past.
No, you made mention now.
We are past.
Let me react. You have to give me the opportunity to react.
No, you can't keep reacting on the same thing. Because if you want to say that, I will remind you.
Okay, you said.
No, hold on.
No,
I will remind you.
Is it not an insult?
Hold on, Zoe. I will remind you that the governor, prior to the protest, came out to tell Rivers people not to protest as well. He said that as well. Let me remind you. Okay. So let's move away. I'm not aware of that because I watched the governor said that.
I'm not privy to that.
And also premised that statement on the fact that he has intelligence that there are plans to hijack the protest,
I'm aware of
just
that.
Like every other governor has been saying, and the federal government has been saying as well. So I am surprised you didn't hear that. But then moving forward, can you please dwell on the question asked? When issues are sensitive, you said you have been on the streets. When issues that are this sensitive come up, issues that are clear, I asked you a clear question. What have the governor done, in your opinion? What has he done with these monies? What has he done to alleviate the hunger?
Okay, you're stepping down the issue
you still keep going back to do PI for the governor.
No, you're stepping down the issue.
Can we dwell on this issue? Because
that means you're stepping down the issue of whether it's an insult on Rivers people.
The funds. If the governor can conveniently do Christmas for civil servants to the tune of hundreds of millions, he's not short of funds. If on the May 1st, the governor could conveniently give 100 million naira for workers 100 million naira to NLC and TUC on Workers' Day, he's not short of funds. If the Ikwere Local Government Council, the governor is not short of funds. He has said himself that internal generated revenue, can you make it make sense to me, Zoe? And Nigerian and Rivers people are dying of hunger.
Choma, when you say these things, you also allow me to react. It's not the issue of PRing for the. I like to balance my discussion.
Please balance.
So don't just bring these things and we just leave it like that and give the impression that the governor is not doing anything.
Let me know the
with
things
the money.
He's doing.
Yeah, there are things on ground. You see the flyover, the overhead bridges that are going on. They are going on.
How many of them?
But the point is, see,
how many of the?
We don't have health services to people who are coming from everywhere around the state to access that facility. It was shut down for years. It's open now. As I speak to you, malaria
what's the cost of treatment?
Well, I've not gone there, but I know that the facilities, because I've been there before it was shut down. I know the services they were rendering. So now it's open again and it's open for service. As we speak to you now in Rivers State, in primary healthcare, malaria treatment is free. These bridges that he's doing now, we are hopeful.
How many bridges?
I'm coming, Choma. Let me speak now. If you should allow me to
you should be clear on it.
These bridges, I don't know how many, but I know one at Rumosi. I know one at Shobana.
That's the ring road.
Yes, ring road. Yeah, whatever.
There's one bridge.
Yeah, I'm calling whatever you call it.
You're calling
whatever you call it. It is time frame. Rivers people are suffering because of this road. The traffic is very bad. But we are waiting because we know that it will be done and it will be open, just like the location, the Rumukuta Road are now open to be accessed. So it's to the extent with which the political device and whatever, he is doing whatever he can do with the resources available. But like I told you, the protests we are embarked on is for the entire system. And when we get to the state, we will ask the state governors what they are doing with our money.
All right, now with the projects and all that has been done, Chizzy, this question goes to you because, you know, Zoe has, if I may use the word Nicodemus, Zoe has, to a large extent, tried to Nicodemusly meander his way out and ask you questions. But since you understand what he has done, let me have your reaction on what he has been doing so far. And then I need a clear answer.
No.
Whatever he said the governor has done.
Yes.
Okay.
I am telling you the truth.
You say he's spending on politics.
Of course, that's what that movement is political.
Shoma, are you accepting that?
I know
Don't
that.
interject. Let him
No,
finish.
see, let me tell you something.
You didn't interrupt you.
Okay.
When you were
No, I'm asking, are you accepting that? Are you okay with that?
When you
Let him
were positive.
Let him arrive.
Chairman,
Continue,
a group of protesters went to the government house and he said he was going to give them pure water. I don't want to define the pure water because, of course, we have seen from Clue what pure water means with the governor. Because he has given some persons 100 million, 200 million from other districts. I was thinking that the governor would have told us that, look, I have money. In fact, I think that because of what the president said, that this protest is a success already. You know why it's a success? It's a success because he has told us that, look, I'm giving your governor and I'm giving your local government chairman money to do something for us, for you. And I wanted to even employ social workers in each of our wards. We have 319 wards. If you employ just 100, it will be about 31,900 workers. So even if you pay those workers to do something, to clean the places, to do other things, to do this, to watch the federal, Choma, you would have done something with this money. And this money can take care of that.
And it will trickle down and even make him more popular among the people.
It will make him more popular. I don't know why I'm giving out this free. Because that's just because I know that if the governor does that employment, remember that because of politics, Wike did 15 per unit. Chema, 15 per unit is over 200,000 persons they were paid. That's political. Now, right now that we are in this hunger,
this state.
Chema, if you go to my ward and employ 100 youth.
Okay, can I also express my opinion? Yes.
Yes, you can.
Let me express my opinion. I'm happy my colleague here is mentioning, he did not mention one side. I'm happy he talked about 15 people per ward and got up to 200 and something, and that was political. Because he made mention of the governor playing politics with money. So playing politics with money didn't just start now. But that's not the point. And again, I don't want to be taken out of context. I'm not here to speak for the governor to say the governor have done well. As far as Rivers State is concerned, is providing governance. No, that's not the point I am saying. The point I am saying is for us to understand the situation with the governor and governance in Rivers State in the context of the political.
I am sure you have donated severally to the causes of people.
Yes.
How affordable is healthcare? Even though there is an infrastructure, how affordable is the healthcare? And meanwhile, when you talk of the BMH, it has also been running before the inception of Governor Silaye.
Yes. Now,
don't allude BMH being functioning at this capacity to the governor.
No.
That's not fair.
I'm coming. Now, the points we are making, like I said, I shouldn't be taking that out of context to think that the governor is doing everything is well. No. But I said, what is lacking with what the president has said? Give
issues. The fact Wike also fought. Maybe you don't know. I'm the APC. I am of the APC. I am Chizzy Obasa that fought Wike for 8 years. Wike also fought now, but he also delivered in his way. But there are also places he didn't deliver. I will tell you. He is talking about healthcare. I said before now when I was going on, it's not a tertiary institution, tertiary hospital. We had a secondary this that we can run to from our primary health center.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before the other one. So
yes.
BMH was more or less like a specialist hospital, like UPTH you can go. So but right now, if you go to UPTH and BMH, you see that everybody from every local government is there. We are saying that those local government health centers that have become moribund, let the governor isolate it, and that he can do in a year.
I agree
and
with
then
you.
to begin to trickle land to us, that means
that the governor cannot perform optimally because of the political crisis in Rivers State.
We will
and I want
review
to
it.
ask
We will
you,
review those.
now you want to review.
No, I said when we get there, we will look at all those things.
Very quickly. You know, when that to ask based on what you have said, you've posited. Now I want to ask, even though there is political crisis in Rivers State, has it stopped the governor from generating increased internally generated revenue? Has it stopped him from rejigging it and increasing it? The answer is no. In fact, that revelation was made in the heat of political crisis. FAC allocation, the federal government at no point stopped payment of FAC allocation, increased FAC allocation, by the way, to Rivers State on account of political crisis. When the palliative, the 5 billion naira palliative was being shared to other states, Rivers State received as well, even in face of the political crisis. Now, the governor has been dashing out monies to the tunes of hundreds of millions to different ethnic groups and different persons and organizations that it were. The political crisis didn't stop him from doing that. You will agree with me. The question would be, how then are you making a case that there is political crisis, so it's going to hinder development at the pace it should go? When Rivers State has the funds, Rivers State has the money. Do you understand my question, Zoe?
Yes, I get you.
Can you answer that in a minute?
Choma will ask for accountability at the appropriate time. That we will do. Definitely Rivers people will do that. We will ask for accountability. It is one thing to be governor, to assume the office of the governor. It is one thing with what you govern, in process of governance, what you do with our money. At the appropriate time, we will ask for accountability.
When is the appropriate time, Zoe?
Choma, we have started something. We are on the streets. We are making, for now, the demands are articulated at the national level. Like I told you, we have processes. Okay. We will come down to the world level.
You're sounding like you're the organizer of the protest.
Yes, I'm part and part. There are no leaders in this project, but everyone is a leader, and everybody is contributing.
All right, Chizi, very quickly, what do you have to say to that?
Well, like I've said, if as a politician I would think that the political divide should even make the governor perform more.
All right, very well. Now, final question. What is your opinion on the presidential address? Do you think it addressed the issues on ground? Do you think the president is in tune with the pain of the people and he addressed the demands of the people?
Now, you see, Chairman, like why he was talking about the governor, one thing about this whole thing is what we call a lot of perspective. And a lot of perspective you see from where you are standing. Okay. You know, you see from where you are standing. And I think that the gains of this protest, it will say, though you are doing so, and so, we haven't seen the impact on us. Okay. So it is for the federal government to recheck their distance, to look at, oh, this thing is not going, or it's not being communicated. So the last time I came, I said one of the failure of the National Orientation Agency, I hate to say this, so that they won't say because I was among those that they were supposed to be appointed before they appointed somebody, so like looking like we're competing. No, it's not. But one of the failure is to, like I said, to do what I call the town crier man communication. All right. To get back to us, to speak the language of our people, the dialect of our people, and what we are doing. Tell us, people keep telling us, oh, we have done this number of electricity, we have done this. Tell me how that thing you've done is bringing 2 hours lights to me.
Right. Okay.
Communication is important.
All right, Zoe, in a minute, what is your take, in summation, what is your opinion on the presidential address?
Yeah, like I said in the beginning of this program, Choma, I told you I woke up early morning to wait to hear the president because tensions are very high as of yesterday, the end of yesterday protests. So after listening to the entire speech of the president, I came to the conclusion that this is the speech